What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mongols. This is our reaction show where we're going to break down everything that we saw as the Hounds drew 0-0 against Phoenix Rising and all of the implications of what happens now as a result of that being the final regular season game. I am Mike Sparks. Joining me, as always, Steve Mattias, Josh Brokaw. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. We are live talking about I really still can't believe the season's over. Like, we always get to this point and it's like, what happened?
The season's not over. We got playoffs, baby.
We got the regular season is over. You know what I mean. Both of you guys were there yesterday at the game, right? Steve, you were there? Yeah. Steve, you were having conversations, it sounds like, with all sorts of upper-ups. How are people feeling about this one?
I mean, we all know there's the situation with Bob, and we've gotten nothing. I asked Grubba, I asked Jeff, got nothing out of them, right? To the point where it makes me believe that there may only be a handful of people that even know what's going on, right? Like I got the sense from Grubba, like he doesn't have any information. I did not push the coaching staff at all on that, but just like talk to them about the past few weeks and how things have been going. One of the things that was amazing about it was just like seeing their attitudes, right? I mean, so we're coming off of a 0-0 draw, and when I'm talking to them, we don't know the result of the Louisville game. Granted, Louisville's up at this point, so it's hopeful. Mm-hmm. But just like, I mean, they were having fun with the guys, having fun on the sidelines, right? Like the attitude is just like something I don't think I've ever seen in Pittsburgh, and I really, really like it. And so that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah. Josh, it was, even though the game was a draw, and we're going to get into the specifics of the game here in a second, there was a lot of festivities around it being the final regular season game. Steel Army did a TIFO. You guys gave her out the Player of the Year award. Just talk us through, sort of the emotions and everything that was happening last night.
It was awesome. So I've never been seeing the crowd so excited and so pumped for a 0-0 draw. Like, it was a pretty exciting time. Even after the game was over, they threw on the Louisville Hartford game.
Oh, really?
On the big screen. Yeah. So like everyone's watching the game during the player signing stuff. And like there's a contingent of the Steel Army still in the section, just watching the game. Yeah. And then once the whistle blew and we knew we had a home playoff game, smoke was popped. Like there's just like celebrating, just like we ended the game or we scored a goal in the Steel Army section. So that made some really fun pictures. Before the game started, though, like you mentioned, we did TIFO. The TIFO this year, we did a kind of like a play on Spirit Halloween. So it was instead of having the ghost from Spirit Halloween, it was Grimhound going over a sign that said for Highmark. So that was a lot of fun. We've actually had that TIFO idea for a long time, and we just never got a chance to bring it out until now. So we just, thanks to Mondo, especially for painting it, I think all before the game started within like the last couple of days. So that was great. And then, Player of the Year was actually pretty emotional and pretty cool. Wrong Robbie. Mertz was totally, we told his family before, so that way they could come over. And so I think that helped too, make it even more emotional. And of course, the proud parents taking pictures the whole time and like, Robbie, get over here. You got to take a picture with us and everything like that. And so, it was a lot of fun.
Is this was Robbie's first Player of the Year?
First time I ever get it. Yeah.
Wow.
It's always been like, he's up there in the standings as far as the vote goes, because this is all just voted on by the Steel Army members. So it's not like there's any like, oh, this person's good this year, like, directing it, anything like that. But there's never been anyone getting it more than once. I think it's almost like an unspoken, no one really is like, oh, that person, like Dick got it last year. Let's not vote for Dick this year, or stuff like that. So it just happens to work out that way. And there's always been something happening every year where you're just like, oh, that player really deserves it. And Mertz, I feel like has deserved it in the past. It just, there's always, you never know what to vote.
Yeah. But to be clear, for a long time, we've had a trend of awarding it to players that are at the end of their contract that then are not given the chance to come back and earn it again.
I wouldn't say that for sure. So there was a joke which I think
I'm not saying that's on purpose. I'm just saying like oftentimes the person that has won it has not been back the next season.
Not because we thought they wouldn't be back. It's
sure. Right.
So why Steve made the joke to me when he found out who was getting it. I mean, I totally would before the award was handed out that Mertz was getting it, but pretend like I did. And he's like, "Oh no, that's a bad sign. That means he won't be back next year." I'm like, "Don't you say that? That's not what this means." Dick was back. Dick got it last year. He was here this year, so plenty of times.
Changing that history.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's talk about the specifics of the game, and then we have our own like award to give out, which for those who are watching live, you'll notice my board is empty, and that's intentional. We will get to why here. You'll have to stick around and figure out why. Let's
Mike, I have a question about that though. Like, are we gonna do an actual award? And yes,
I think we have to
on the spot. I think we've got to do something physical.
We have to do something physical. We had tossed around some ideas earlier this season, and then just like things spiral. But I think we have to do something physical, and we have to present it at some point. Maybe we'll make a fun video out of that too. Like that could be a good time. Yeah,
I bet you we could get Mondo to like 3D print the Cerebus dog and put that.
Giving away ideas here. This is future content.
Hold on.
Hold on to that.
We're gonna put together a whole video, like the decision process and voting, and like.
I do have one issue. I just realized I did not open my beverage before the podcast started, but there's no victory beverage right now. So this is not a victory beverage sound. This is just a beverage sound.
Okay, good. Literally,
this is a Josh's thirsty sound.
Listen, to your point about like emotions after a draw, I literally all the way up to the point of starting this show, I was looking around my house for a carbonated beverage to be like, I need a victory beverage. Like there wasn't a victory. It was a 0-0 draw, but it felt like, okay, we did something here. It's worth celebrating.
And the victory is, I mean, a home playoff spot.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, that's true.
Agreed. All right, let's do Hey Sir and then talk about the game.
And now, Hey Sir, 1 minute reactions with Laura Ellen.
Well, I never thought this season would be over. Or maybe I wished it would be over so much faster, but that's the end of the regular season. Somehow we got a home playoff game. Well, I guess I don't know that. Maybe we get a home playoff game. I don't know. Good grief. This ref wasn't calling anything. There might have been a couple penalty kicks, and I don't know. Definitely someone was going to get hurt, but who knows, right? It's so hard to know how to feel about this season. There's a lot of strings that have not been tied yet. I don't know. Oh man. Well, it was boring. Let's go Hounds. Let's see if we can get past the first round of the playoffs. All right, let's go Hounds.
This has been Hey Sir, 1 minute reactions with Laura Ellen.
To be fair, I edit this together, and we're coming in all high energy, and Laura Ellen goes, it was boring. Laura
I disagree.
Listen. Literally, like 30 seconds after the game is over, that video shows up in my inbox. So Laura Ellen clearly didn't know whether or not we had a home playoff game at that point. She was just going pure emotion after that game. So that's what we've got. There may be some points in there that you guys might feel are worth pulling out and discussing further, which is cool.
Some strings to tie up.
Some strings to tie up, yes. But to that point, as we've said, 0-0 draw. There's I think there's a few takeaways that we could touch on. Steve, was there anything in particular that Laura Ellen said that you wanted to discuss, or is there something else you want to start
there's
with?
One thing I want to recognize that Laura Ellen's segment is Hey Sir, a ode to the referee. Mm-hmm. And I think it's fitting that the last game of the regular season, she talks about the referee in her segment. So I just want to honor that and recognize that. And that comes from years ago of her, Justin, and I screaming at the ref, Hey Sir, all the time, right? Like that was a thing that we would do. And so there's something about that is just like, yes, call out the ref, please. I had a lot of fun with this game. I think this is one of the most exciting for me 0-0 draws in a long time. Frustrating in some senses. I mean, but numerous good opportunities, and I think a really complete performance other than that final touch. And I mean, Sample had a number of opportunities. I think he had 3 that were, close. Luke put one off the post. Augie had 2 golden opportunities. I mean, the first one I think was a little bit better of an opportunity, and he just couldn't make up his mind and made the wrong decision. And the second one, I mean, he was just reacting to the ball and couldn't get good power behind it. But I mean, it was a fun game to watch because there was hope throughout the game of us pulling this off. And I don't want to say that Phoenix did not play. Like they came to play. They were looking for goals. The defense, I think, was absolutely fantastic, shutting them down. And when they did have a couple of chances, Eric Dick just played really well. I mean, he was bold in a way that I don't think we've seen him be that bold throughout most of the season. And so I kind of look at that and just say, like, those are all things for me that, yeah, despite the outcome, like, I didn't find this to be a boring game.
Yeah. You mentioned, Dick holding things down in the back. This was his 26th shutout for the Hounds across all competitions, which ties him with Hunter Gilstrap for the second most in team history. Josh, do you think that Eric Dick gets a 27th shutout as a Hound? It's a big question. Yeah.
So Hartford at home. So playoffs do count? Or are we saying playoffs?
Yeah, it's across all competitions. So
okay,
yes.
cool. Make sure. I was like, wait a second.
You're basically saying, like, Hartford, whoever we play potentially next, or is he back next season to get more?
Can we all just acknowledge that Mike just implied that we're not getting past the second round? Which, I mean, historically you are correct, but playoffs is only 2 games, right?
We're gonna talk.
Wait,
about
there's rounds after 2.
I didn't know this. But no, I think it's a possibility. I honestly do. Hartford's going to be a really interesting game, and with all playoff games, it always feels like it's very much no one wants to get scored on. So like. Those games can be very low scoring. So it's the high possibility that we're going to see, a one and done type of game where it's like you get 1 goal and then everything is shut down for everything. And maybe that 1 goal does come until the end anyway. So, it's a huge possibility, especially against Hartford. So that's going to be a weird game. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, I think it is a possibility.
Okay. Josh, did you have any other give me another takeaway from this one that you wanted to talk about?
It was a fun game to watch. I kind of going off what Steve was saying, like this didn't feel like we've had 1-0 games or 2-0 games that felt less action packed than this 0-0 game. The style of play that was going on, the way that they were taking chances and getting forward and actually having shots everywhere on the field. It was fun to watch, and it was definitely you kind of hear it with the post-game conversations from Vincent or the Mertz had soundbite about it as well, but everyone pretty much is like, yeah, this is a game that we're all proud of, and that like we didn't score, that sucks, and we should have scored, but other than that, this game was exactly what they're looking to do.
It's interesting because you mentioned, Robbie. They're both Robbie. Robbie Mertz specifically called out that he felt that we were getting chances in this one in a way that we haven't gotten chances earlier this season, and that's what kind of made him feel proud of it. And I was trying to think about, we talked last week about how much can Rob Vincent actually do, and I think there's one of the big questions is just how much time does he have? Like if he was only in there for a week, then it's like, okay, you're just kind of keeping things moving. The longer it seems like Bob is out, the more time Vincent has to put his stamp on things just a little bit. And so the fact that we did seem slightly more offensive, we were getting more chances. You're starting to see over the past few games, certain players pop up more offensively than they have previously. We've commented on, and I know part of this was injury related, but Etu has been much more active in getting into the box. Luke Biasi has been getting much more into the attack and taking shots and making things happen. And you mentioned earlier, Steve, Sample. Like I feel like it's been interesting because in the past, not that I've been critical of Sample, but I think I think I love talking to Brad. I think Brad's a great person and I think he's a really good player, but I always had a big question mark in my mind as to whether or not I saw him coming back next year, because it felt like he had lost his spot to Walty, and then you have All in the wings, and he kind of felt like the fifth midfielder that maybe we have. But what was interesting to me in this game was oftentimes whenever we would get the ball in the past, we would drop it all the way back to our defense, to somebody like Suber, to recycle play and then go forward. And it felt like specifically in this game, that ball was going to Sample, and then it was making its way back forward again. It was almost like there was a V, and he was at the base of the V, and he would get the ball, and then it would go forward as opposed to going backward. And I now want to go back and watch the past few games to kind of see if that's still the case. But I think if you're stopping the ball from going backward where Sample is compared to where Suber is, you're keeping the ball much further up the field and giving yourself more of an opportunity to attack. And so I was surprised to see that, but also really happy to see that, because I think that could be contributing to some of this additional offensive output that we didn't see earlier this year. So, Steve.
I mean, lots of thoughts on everything you just said. Starting kind of with that most recent one, Sample's role in this game. Rob Vincent talked about it in his post game with the press, just about how good the defense has been recently. And that makes me think, is that part of it, that they have a lot more time to set up and track the ball because they're not involved in the buildup as much on that recycle. The ball is much further forward. And I think the stats really do bear that out, that I would have to go back. I haven't done this, but I can say with certainty that there are a lot of games where the majority of the Hounds passes are in their own half. That's not the case last night. They had 254 passes in the opposition half, which is 44 more than they had in their own half, right? So more than 50% of their passes were in the opposition half. But the other thing is, I mean, we talked about this a while ago, I feel like, and the team was not clicking. We were not scoring goals. We were not taking shots. And I remember talking to Bob, mid-season, and him saying, we want 15, 20 shots a game. We want that. We want to be pushing towards that. And then for the next few games, it was 8, 9, 10, 11 shots. For a long time, we had 17 shots, but I think what's even more important is that 11 of those shots were in the box. And then the other thing that is just mind-boggling is we had 27 shots in Phoenix's box, or 27 touches in Phoenix's box. That's not something that I think we have seen much from the Hounds in the past few years, or 8 years even, right? That we're actually getting into the box and doing things with the box. And for me, that means, sure, we didn't get that final touch on it that got it into the back of the net. But if you're doing those types of things regularly, you're setting yourself up for that success. And I really like that, because it's not going to work every single time, right? Like, you're going to have a game where you just can't make it happen. But putting yourselves in the position to make it happen more often is, in my mind, way better than taking the high percentage shot 5 times.
Yeah. And listen, this Phoenix team was not a team that was just going to roll over. They very much could have ended up outside of the playoffs. They needed a result. They also could have clinched a home spot. And so that's just the way the West was. So they had to come to play. But Josh, the feeling watching the game on TV was, I did not feel threatened by Phoenix at all. It felt like a very dominant performance by the Hounds. Did it feel that way in the stands?
It did. I think there was only like one chance that was really scary that they had. I don't even think I saw that chance in the highlights. Now I'm thinking about it, but it felt scary in the stadium. Where it's like, oh, that could have gone in, but apparently highlights, I didn't think so. It's not even so much that they felt like they were going to score. It did feel like they were there to play and like make things as hard as they could for the Hounds and rough up the Hounds some. Yeah. I think that's just because they couldn't get, anything going in the attacking end and looking dangerous. But as long as they kept it 0-0, like anything could happen. So it was definitely a game that it felt on the knife's edge just because of the fact that anything 0-0, you feel that, could not go your way. But overall, yeah, like did I just see that stat right? They had 0 corners. I'm trying to even think, like, they didn't even have a corner kick in this whole game.
They did not.
What the heck? Like, how
does that happen, right? Like, how is there not like
realize that? It's like, yeah. And we had like 10. You're saying though, yeah, we had 10. And, right? Like, and the other part of that though is to keep in mind is like, I think it's amazing that it was such a knife's edge for their season that a win. Like they could have been out of the playoffs like that. Yeah. To me, it's so weird that like the home playoff versus not in the playoffs was that close in the West. I thought it was tight in the East, but yeah, in the West, it was even more so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
want to even reinforce that they only took 8 shots and Eric Dick only had to make 1 save, right? Like that's how impotent their attack was in this game.
To be fair, that one save that
Mike
screw up, Mike. Choice of I know, but I was just like, you could have used any word.
And like if you watch, they do show that one shot, that one save on the replay, and it made me laugh because it was literally like the slowest ball to get into the box and like just bounce, and it's like I don't even know if I would call that a save. It just kind of looked like oh, thanks for passing me the ball. Like it, like it was pretty sad.
Yeah. Steve, I think, or one of you guys put in the notes, Sean Suber played a complete season.
Yeah. So amazing. Every single minute of the season.
Yeah. So bit of an Iron Man. I
mean, I know Griffin has done that. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to now I wonder who are the other 2.
Well, is the stat that he's only the 4th Hound to play every single regular season minute? Yeah.
So
Griffin has done it.
Drew, go look at the game notes because I'm sure it was in there, and let us know.
That's funny.
Yeah. What else from this one, guys? Any other takeaways before we kind of pick our top 3 for this one and see how our board shakes out, and then we look at the final standings?
I do want to calling out Suber a little bit more. 1, great season, fantastic, and 2, a little bit behind the scenes for the Player of the Year award. Suber was actually next after Mertz as far as the amount of votes that he got. Mertz, I wouldn't say ran away with it, but he definitely had like a double-digit lead. But the next person down was Suber with, I believe, like 17% of the vote. So,
I mean, Josh, you've been privy to that info for a long time. Kind of like in terms of how close that is. Like, because I feel like some years we've had the conversation, it's been a blowout, and then other years it's been super close. Like I feel like Suber had a great season, and for me, when I put my votes in, it's like, how do I vote for the players that I think were really good? And I think for me, it's like, right, like Robbie isn't even who I voted for best midfielder. I think there are other players that played better, like in a position, but Robbie's versatility of going forward into attack and dropping back into defense and just the effort that he had was astounding this season. And he was effective, right? Like he was effective, whether he was playing on the wing or playing as a midfielder. And sometimes that was a fuzzy line, but like he just had, I mean, probably an all-time great Hound season, I feel like.
It will be interesting. I'm looking forward to, hopefully, Suber is still around. I'd like to talk to him this offseason because I know when I talked to him just whenever we were doing interviews earlier this year, he was saying that his goal for this year was to have X number of assists, X number of goals. Like he was thinking more of an offensive output. So I'm just curious if he would look back at this season and feel Was it a success for him or was it not? I would say it's very much been a success, but it just may not be in the terms that he was looking to define it. Right. And so to have that conversation with him, I think would be really interesting.
And I want to like be really pragmatic about it, right? That like nobody was really strong offensively this year. And so maybe those stats become a little bit irrelevant that like this is the least goals per 90 we've scored in the past 8 years. But we're playing at home in the first round of the playoffs because of Sean Suber, Beto Edracht, Guillaume Vactor, Eric Dick, right? Like we're playing at home because of the defensive effort and keeping the ball out of the net. And Eric and Sean in particular leading that line, especially with 2 young first-year pros surrounding him for most of the season, having to get them, who I think they are all excellent players, but like his leadership on that line has been really evident to me.
Yeah, agreed. Anything else before we do top 3, guys?
This is only tangentially related to the game, but we got our 2024 season ticket holder gifts this finally.
Wait. Yes, you heard that right, Mike.
Okay.
The season ticket holder gift that they give every year for season ticket holders. It just never happened in 2024. Things fell through, and so we get an email day of, or maybe I think it was day of the game. It might have been like the day before the game. That hey, if you were a 2024 season ticket holder, go to the customer service and pick up your season gift. And some people at tailgate were like, that's so houndsy. They did a typo for 2025. It's like, no, that's they mentioned at the very end of the email, and stay tuned for your 2025 gift announcement. And so, it was just kind of funny. The gift was, this is a holographic, it's not really showing holographic on the screen.
Yeah.
It's a 2024 season ticket, holographic fake ticket.
Is it a magnet or is it just like
it's not a magnet?
No, it looks like a magnet. Like the back looks like it would be, but it's just like a promotional ticket. Not even promotional, like what do they call it? Like a
commemorative,
decorative ticket. Yeah. It's thicker material. It's not terrible. My issue is it should be for a specific game. Like imagine if this would have been like the Open Cup game.
But like Josh, you recognize that on there, right? Like the ticket number is the first game and the last game of the season, right?
I did not recognize that. That's a good eye. Good eye.
I didn't pick that up, but
I did not pick that up. I saw 412.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. But yeah, if you're gonna do a decorative ticket, a collectible ticket, make it for a game that you can buy a ticket to. The whole season feels a little bit,
or make it a usable item. Right? Like it was like come and get this scanned, like take this to the stadium every week.
So you want it to be
your
an
entry. Sure. Like I get to keep. Like that would be actually really unique and cool. It's like, this is how I got in. I would put it on my lanyard. Right?
I don't know if you remember.
That's like my YMCA pass. Like you scan it as you walk in. Yeah.
I need a badge to get into my office at work. Right. I don't need another badge to get into the Hounds game. I'm like, I gotta scan my badge to come in. No, I the thought that counts. I appreciate it, but I do think go back to the drawing board for these. There's some other better ideas. I'm not against decorative tickets. I do think they're kind of cool. Collectible tickets are neat. But I would have been much more excited if it was like, this is make it look like it's a ticket for the Open Cup game against Crew. And that's a good memory that you can tie to the ticket. That's cool.
Now, do you have any guesses what 2025 will give you?
I mean, I'll tell you in a year when we get it.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, guys, let's do our top 3. So as I mentioned, my board is empty because, and I'll try not to let my vote sway this at all. Robbie Mertz ran away with it. Robbie Mertz has, I won't tell you how many points, but there's nobody that can catch Mertz. Mm-hmm. But there is technically 4 guys that can end up in either second or third. And so I don't want to tell you those guys because I don't want that to impact how you vote in terms of the top 3 for this game in particular. So let's start with you, Steve. Give me someone who you think should be in the top 3 for this one.
Luke.
Biasi. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
will.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so Biasi on the during the game, watching it at home, they named him the man of the match. I think it was the Hounds in the press release that went out post game. They gave it to Vactor for having X number of clearances.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously all the stuff around Robbie. So like there's a lot going on there. There's a couple of different guys, especially in a no draw. Nothing really kind of stands out massively. Josh.
So this is just for this game? Is that what
just
we're saying?
for this game?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The assignment.
Yeah.
Oh man. Is it weird to give it to Suber?
No.
No, it's not weird.
I feel like I can't like name like exactly like one thing that I thought like Suber deserved because of this, but yeah, Suber.
Okay. I will probably say Sample after everything that I talked about earlier. I think he did a good job of I don't want to say subverting expectations because that feels like I have low expectations of him, which I don't. But I felt that his imprint was much more on this game than I've seen in previous games. So I think that's good for him. So now the big question is, what is our order? We have Biasi, Suber, Sample. I guess, does anybody disagree with those 3 as being our top 3?
Someone else more deserving? Any other people you think are more deserving?
Not in this game.
Okay. So those are our 3. Steve, what order would you put them in?
In that order.
Biasi, Suber, Sample?
Yeah.
Josh, do you agree with that?
I think there's an argument to be made that Sample goes above Suber in this.
Wow.
And for today's game?
Yeah. For yesterday's game?
Yeah.
Wow.
Why?
I just
do you think Suber did something amazing
well,
this game?
But like maybe it's colored by like you had 3 chances and you couldn't find the goal mouth. And you've got to do that in these games, right? Like,
did Sample have 3 chances?
Yeah.
That's actually better than I thought he had. I don't remember being upset about 1 chance.
Okay.
I can understand that. Like that is like on a 0-0 game, you probably should be weighting the defense more than the offense as far as, who had a good game.
Okay. All right.
You convinced me. At least me. Mike.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm good with that order. So Biasi in first place with 3, Suber in second place with 2, Sample in third place with 1. So
I just want to like my reaction to that, Josh, was not the comment I expected because I have Luke clearly first, but it's such a difference I think between Luke, Suber, and then Sample for me in this case that like I was in my mind like if I have to defend Luke over Sean, how do I do that? I don't know. And so that's why it was such a strong reaction.
Yeah.
For me, I just was not expecting to like talk about Sample in that.
Yeah. For me, it's just that I don't have particular like things to call out that I was like, Suber did this really well, other than just his, his position. He played it well. But whereas Sample, there are moments where we can call out being like, oh yeah, this was really good by Sample. This was really good by Sample. So like, it was just the fact that there's not a single moment where I'm like, Suber deserves this because he did X.
I think somebody at one point said to Mike that it's important to pay attention to the little things and the unseen things that they do and to rate them a little bit higher.
Do you remember who that was?
I think you know who that was.
I know
it was Luke
exactly
Biasi.
who it was. Yes.
Yeah. But I say that to say I take that seriously from Luke, that it has changed the way that I watch him. It has changed the way that I've watched the back 3. It has changed the way that I've watched Barnes and Junior throughout the season, and put much more of a premium on the little things that they do that don't look flashy, but keep the game within reach.
So based on that, our end of season top 4, because we have a tie.
Oh.
We have Mertz at 27, Griffin at 18, and Jackson Walty and Luke Biasi both have 17 points.
Wow. Wow.
So that race for the second and third spot were pretty tight. The next closest one was Augie with 12.
Where's
So
Sean
like
Suber on this list?
Sean Suber would be Sean Suber would be at 13. So he leapfrogs Augie at this point.
Okay,
but he wouldn't be able to crack into the top 3.
All right.
So so congrats to Mertz. Well, we're gonna have to figure out something for him. I don't know. Like I was gonna say, how do we break a tie? But I don't. It's for third place. I don't know if we need to break a tie. But in terms of voting, those were our top players contributing on a game-to-game basis in terms of their impact on individual games.
Nice.
So yeah.
So Mike, I don't know if you have this. Maybe Mondo has it, but I think it'd be fun for kind of like a postseason show to kind of do a little bit of a breakdown if we have the data of like how many times a player was in those rankings versus how many times they were consistently at the top versus like, was there someone that was just like consistently good for a period of time that like they were third, but they were third a lot. And so they didn't rise to like the best player, but they showed a lot of consistency of being a really good player. That's just something I think. I've got a new idea for what we produce to give to Robbie, because now Robbie has won our award. He has won the Steel Army Award. He has won the Media Award. Maybe we should just give him a trophy cabinet.
We could. Yeah. That's a good point.
Like he doesn't already have one.
Right.
Come on.
I should just message him and be like, what do you want, dude? Like, just
Here's
tell
your
us. Yeah.
Here's your gift card to Chipotle.
With a Mongol sticker on it.
No, he's gonna be like, can you get us some diapers? Like,
right?
Some diapers.
You know how expensive formula is right now.
I don't think he actually has to worry about that with like as invested as his family is in
that's true.
Cal's life. I was talking to his dad in the parking lot, and I was like, "Is that the baby?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "He's with Grandpa." I was like, "No, you're Grandpa. That's great Grandpa, right?" Like, just like the baby is getting big. Robbie's grandfather, so Cal's great grandfather is like sitting there with them, holding them. Like they're all invested in that kid's life, and it's beautiful.
Agreed. Guys, one bit of news that before we get to the final table, before we talk about Hartford, one bit of news that did come out this week that kind of went under the radar a little bit. The Hounds announced John Fisher as the VP of Revenue. So this is like a new position that the team hasn't had before. Fisher has some experience, I believe, in Major League Baseball. He's a native of Pittsburgh North Hills. He graduated from Robert Morris University. They're coming back to Pittsburgh. It feels sort of a Jeff Garner-y type of situation a little bit. He worked with, he was the vice president of ticket sales and marketing with the Arizona Diamondbacks of Major League Baseball. He also spent time with NBA's Cleveland Cavaliers and the NHL's Tampa Bay Lightning. And he also worked as the vice president for sales of Cirque du Soleil. So a wide breadth of experience in terms of sales and ticketing and revenue and things like that. To me, this just feels like a continuing sign of the organization continuing to grow and evolve and develop into kind of what you would expect a D1 team to have. And so we know that the new stadium is coming. We know that we've applied for D1 status. This just feels like it's continuing to lay the groundwork and provide, additional assistance to Jeff and his team to keep making them bills and keeping the organization growing. Was there anything else that you guys sort of saw in this, or you have any other thoughts about the team kind of announcing this now as opposed to like waiting till the off season?
I don't think there's any rhyme or reason for that. I think also, though, you got to remember that like at this moment, they are gearing up. They've already geared up to get season tickets for next year, to get, all that rolling. Like it's not like there's any off season for the ticketing office and for sales in general. So, and plus, like as soon as this season ends, they have to start filling that stadium for other things. You got to figure out ways to make money in the off season. So, I think this signing now kind of makes more sense because the stadium's going to be more open while the Hounds aren't there, and try and figure out what they can do with it and how it all works out. So, it's good. It sounds good. I don't know the guy, obviously, but from my understanding, I think him and Jeff also know each other pretty well. already. So they might have gone to school together or something like that. But cool. Let's hope it works out.
Yeah.
And I also want to add that we haven't had a director of ticketing for a few months, and this to me shows some intent of elevating that role to a new level that's overseeing multiple things. But the other side of that is, I assume he's still going to be reporting to Jeff, but he's going to be taking some of the responsibilities I think that Jeff had, which gives Jeff the opportunity to focus on some other aspects of things of running the organization that don't know what that is, but it just kind of seems like looking at what his role is. It's like, I've talked to Jeff about him doing some of those things in the past and what that's like. And so this opens up some opportunities, whether that's making Jeff's workload lighter or opening some opportunities for him to go and find other things to keep the same workload. And that's all positives, right?
Listen, man, he's got 3 years of stadium expansion to oversee. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of work to be dedicating there.
Yep.
So finding someone else to pick up some of this slack is great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, agreed. Guys, let's look at the final standings in the East. This is how everything ended up. Everybody is locked in or locked out at this point. Indy 11, Tampa, Miami, and Birmingham, none of them making the cut, which if you would have asked me at the beginning of the season, I would have expected 3 of those 4 to be above the playoff line. So
it wasn't Miami.
It wasn't Miami. No, I would have expected Birmingham, Tampa, Indy to all be making a run. And to be fair, I mean, Indy were 2 points out. Tampa were 3 points out. Tampa had a putrid season, but Birmingham dead last with a negative 14 goal differential and 27 points. It's just, oof, man, things did not go right in Birmingham. Your top 8, we got Louisville at 1, Charleston at 2, North Carolina was at 3, Pittsburgh, us at 4, Hartford at 5, Loudoun at 6, Rhode Island at 7, Detroit at 8. So in terms of how the playoff picture shakes out, you're going to have Louisville facing Detroit, Charleston get Rhode Island, North Carolina versus Loudoun. And guys, that leads us to Pittsburgh versus Hartford. So we will be home on Saturday at, I believe, 6:30 p.m. was they now announced the start time against Hartford Athletic. And we talked about the last time we played Hartford, the game ended after Hartford walked off the field because there was an alleged racial slur by a Hounds player towards a Hartford player, which after a league review came back with nothing. So there's a big question mark hanging over sort of how Hartford is feeling about this, how the Hounds are going to feel about going into this game. It was a question that was posed to Rob Vincent, one of the first questions that he got in the press conference. And Rob was like, we're just going to treat it like a game. Hopefully they just treat it like a game. But there's a lot of weight on this, Josh. I mean, when we found out it was going to be Fraudford, like, what was your first thought?
Oh, I mean, I hope okay. There's going to be passion at this game no matter what. I mean, it's a playoff game, but I don't think there's any way that a player going into this game for either side is just like, well, we just forget about that ever happening. And this is just a regular playoff game. Like, no, there's going to be emotions are going to be high on both sides. No matter, how professional Mertz makes it sound like we're just going to treat it like no.
Right.
Like that, I don't see that's a possibility. I know the fans are going to see it as just like any other opponent. So this is going to be wild. We'll see how it goes.
Well, and to be fair, Hartford and Pittsburgh were tied on 44 points.
Yeah.
Had they not walked off the field and either gotten a draw or there's a chance Hartford could have been hosting this game instead of Pittsburgh. So that game has a lot of implications for where this game is now being played. Steve, your thoughts on Hartford coming to town?
I mean, Hartford has had some really strong success this season. They went on a run until that game. And then they've been a little bit up and down since then. And so had you asked me a month and a half ago, I thought Hartford was making a run for a clear claim at third place. And they have dropped to fifth. And so a team that I think has a really strong capability, but is not playing up to their potential lately. And the Hounds on the ascendancy is good for this game. I think in terms of the environment, oh man, right? Like it makes me wish that Hartford was closer geographically, because these are the types of games that add a lot to both on the field and off the field rivalries. And so, I mean, the league said they couldn't do anything about the alleged issue because they couldn't find anything. I've got to say that, like, there's not much suspicion in my mind that a player said something. I can see somebody mishearing something, or somebody else shouting something and thinking it was the player, right? Like that somebody was offended probably is very true. Mm-hmm. That adds to a lot of this, right? And so the question for me becomes, do we have like an issue that arises because someone not involved in the game says something? Right? Like we've seen it throughout the world that like fans will say things. So I hope that doesn't happen, but it's just like, these are the types of things that make the sport for me, like, this is why I am here, that there is intrigue, there is drama. It is fraught with a lot of issues. And I don't know what's going to happen, but something's going to happen, and we're going to have things to talk about at the end of it.
Yeah. Josh.
Hopefully it's just that the Hounds pummel them on the field.
I was going to say, that's what's going to happen. The Hounds are going to show up, show out. The fans will as well. And yeah, we have been calling them Fraudford for a long time. And yeah, that's just how it is.
I mean, look, to be fair, we beat them both times we played them this season, 1-0 and then 2-1 in Hartford. But Steve, to your point, both of these teams are very different teams from the teams that played each other it feels like just a few weeks ago. You know, at that point, Bob Lilly was on the sideline. You know, we didn't have sort of this slightly more attacking style to the Hounds that we've seen. You mentioned how Hartford have been up and down. Now, listen, Hartford was trying to get points yesterday. They only lost to Louisville 1-0. And Louisville was looking to get that win in particular because that puts them in the history books for the most wins. So they put up a good battle there. This in no way is a gimme. Like, not that I ever think the game against Detroit a few years ago, the playoffs, I thought was a gimme, and then it wasn't. So I almost am happy that this game is against a team that we're not going to take lightly, that we know there's going to be something else to it, because we have to come with everything. We can't leave anything on the field.
Right.
And so,
like, I would argue that the way the playoffs are structured, this game was always going to be the most competitive game. Yeah. You have the 4th and the 5th place teams fighting it out. This isn't some big gap in quality, especially with a huge playoff like field. You know, it's not 8th place playing against the 1st place team, and you're just kind of like, well, wonder how that one's going to go. Granted, anything can happen.
Let's go Detroit.
I'm hoping for Detroit.
Things I never want to say in my life, but
yeah.
I had to root for Louisville last night, so let's root against them now.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, that'd be fantastic. But and we get another home playoff game that happens. But so yeah, it's definitely a situation where this game was always going to be the most competitive game, 4th against 5th. And now you have the more, storylines, more drama with everything that's happening between these two teams this year. It's going to be a huge game. So yeah. And just the fact that we have a home playoff game, period. It's just mind-boggling to me. You could not convince me that was going to happen, even as little as like 3 weeks ago. So
I was seriously convinced we weren't making the playoffs at all, let alone getting a home playoff spot. So like the fact that we were able to turn it around, I think part of that is indicative of just the state of the rest of the USL this season. And,
True.
I think you have Louisville and Charleston, who are clearly the quality, and everyone else was just kind of filling in from there. Like we said, in previous seasons, you would have Indy, you would have Tampa, you'd have Birmingham, all pushing towards the top, and you just didn't have that this year. So I feel like we were kind of not to knock what has happened this season, but we were very much we had some good fortune in terms of just everything else that happened around us, which is great.
12 wins, 10 losses, 8 draws. Like that team shouldn't be a home playoff team.
Right.
But this year it is.
We are. Yeah. So,
yeah. I want to zoom out a little bit because like just the Eastern Conference playoffs as a whole, that we say that, yeah, Louisville and Charleston have really run away with it, and they have. But Charleston has started off really dominantly, and they seem to have been doing better lately. But they've hit some rough patches. But then you also look over at it, it's like part of the reason last night was so up in the air is you've got Loudoun and North Carolina playing again, and they played earlier in the night last night to see where those two teams would fall. Rhode Island has a good run of form, right? Like I'm looking at this bracket, and there's really only one team that I'm like, they shouldn't be a strong contender in the Eastern Conference, despite the fact that they're only a point behind Rhode Island, and that's Detroit. That like my money, if I am a betting person, is on Louisville pummels them, right? Like, yeah, Detroit doesn't go to Louisville and win. I'd love to see it happen.
To be fair, Louisville has almost twice as many points as Detroit, and Detroit has a negative 2 goal differential to Louisville's 37. So, like, yes.
Right. Yeah. But it's like any of these other teams, I think, can go on a run and do something, right? Like, and I don't know which team that's going to be, but this is exciting for me for the playoffs because there's 6-7 teams that I could see, if they can find a way to get past Louisville, being the team that's representing the East in the final.
How realistic is it that the Hounds are one of those teams? We'd have to beat Hartford, and then we would have to face Louisville.
Have to beat Hartford, and then we have never beaten Louisville in the second round.
We have beat them at Lynn Family Stadium, though.
We won the first ever game in that stadium.
We're the first ever to beat them in that stadium, technically.
Not only the first ever, but like their first ever game was a loss.
That's okay.
Right?
Okay,
like, which is
I'm also pushing.
So like this is the type of thing where for me it's like this is why sports is fun, because do we have any business going to Louisville and pulling out a win? Not based on what we've seen this season from both of these teams. But let me ask you this. Did we have any business going to New England and beating them in the Open Cup? Did we have any business going, having Columbus come and beat that, right? Like, did we have any business beating New York? No, right? Like, we have seen these types of things where it's like the obviously better team gets beat by a team that is organized, and it's what makes sports fun.
I'm also pushing us into the common trap of a Hounds fan of, we made the playoffs. How far can we go? Are we going to get past Hartford? Like, that's the first question. Josh, give me a score prediction in this one. How do you think this one shakes out?
It is a playoff game, so it makes me think it's going to be low scoring just because all playoff games usually are. But I do think the added drama of this one, it might end up being a 2-1 game. I do think that's high for a playoff game. I would expect something closer to like 1-0. But with everything else going on and just, the Hartford of it all, the Fraudford of it all, I think, 2-1 would. It's probably going to be, we go up and then it's 1-1 most of the game and it's squeaky bum time. And no one wants to go to the PKs, and then we squeak it out.
Steve?
It's a 1-1 game, and Jacob Randolph comes in and saves 2 penalties.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, so how dare you? How dare you?
Now I'm like, what is the scenario in which Jacob Randolph has to come in? Like, does Eric get hurt?
Penalty kicks.
But I like
because that's the most Houndsy thing ever.
You're gonna pull a D2 and like switch your keeper for penalty shots.
Yep.
Bringing Julie the Cat Gaffney to like.
Hey, you asked for a prediction. I have no idea, so I'm going crazy. Okay.
How dare you, sir?
How dare you?
I don't know, Mike. Why do you ask this question? I don't know.
I think that I can see a couple things happening. I think one, with the Hounds playing the way they are, I think with the fans being behind them, we know that Highmark is a difficult place to play. I think we come out fast, and I think Hartford has to try to weather that storm. But I think that because of all of the bulletin board material, Hartford are going to play a little bit on edge, a little bit riskier, because they're going to want to be the heroes in this one. And I think that may open them up to some counterattacks, to some opportunities. So while I think realistically, Josh, I could see this playing out as a 2-1. I also could see this being like a 3-0 or like a 3-1, where because if the Hounds can manage their emotions, I could see Hartford losing theirs, and that's where you have the potential to take over. So we'll see. I mean, we struggle to get past the first round, regardless of what position we're in, player shield or not. So, but this feels slightly like a new team, new coach, new approach. The players seem to be revitalized. Mertz talked about it a little bit. And so if they're kind of riding this wave and thinking about themselves as kind of this new exciting team than what they've been all season, then who knows? Like, anything's possible. So yeah, that's where we're.
And to be clear, right? Like, we're talking about the third least goals conceded over the season,
right,
in this team, right? Like, the question is not, can we play well and make it hard for them? It's, can we go out and find goals?
Yeah. So this is clearly jumping the gun, but I'm just curious, gut reaction now, because I'm sure we will have this conversation later. Josh is shaking his head. If the Hounds win this weekend and Bob Lilly is not back next year, is Rob Vincent the head coach of this team?
That's not where I thought you were going with this. Okay.
So wait. Where did you think he was going with this?
I thought for sure he's like, do we get the trophy or something?
Oh,
like,
yeah, no.
Along those lines. I was like, you just said focus on this game, sir. What's the scenario?
So if Bob Lilly's not back, we know his contract is up the end of the season. If they choose not to renew his contract, but the Hounds win this first playoff game, does that increase the odds that Rob Vincent is back as head coach next year?
I don't think it hurts. I don't think I'm still under the impression, or at least the delusion, I don't know. I just think what's going to happen is it really depends on if they are able to find someone that has a lot more experience or not. Like, they'll look for someone who has more experience in this league than Vincent does as far as being a head coach. And if they don't like any of their options, it's going to be a Vincent. I think Vincent, like, obviously now if we like won the championship and like, it's just like we have this spectacular run of play, Vincent still undefeated, by the way, goes on and is undefeated the whole time. Then I think you'd be like, no, we keep him and we, this is a hot ticket. Let's stay on it. But I think realistically, you probably still look to see if you have anyone with more experience as a head coach. And if not, you go with Vincent.
Yeah. Steve?
I don't think it has anything to do with Rob Vincent's record at the end of this season. I think it has everything to do with, does Tuffy think that Dan Visser has the connections to take over like a GM of soccer operations role?
Crazy with this take. Super crazy.
and I don't think the answer is that Tuffy thinks that is a sure bet, right? Like I love Dan. He's a great guy. A lot of his connections, I think, are through Bob, right? Bob was the one with the connections. And so I think Tuffy goes out and looks for someone that can do both again. And so I think it's not about Rob and what Rob does. It's Tuffy tries to replicate Bob without Bob of doing everything.
Are you like, we talked about this a little bit last week, so I don't want to rehash it too much, but is your stance that you think that there's a better chance that we find a new GM and Dan Visser is a head coach?
No.
Okay, I just think I don't think Dan wants to be the head coach.
I think Tuffy wants a coach GM and doesn't want to have a GM and let someone like Rob coach.
Right? I don't think at D1 you can do that. I think we've outgrown that.
I think you're right, but my question is, does
Tuffy? Yeah,
we're right.
I think you also underestimate how much Bob was probably is currently making. He's not a cheap coach to have. No. You don't get someone that veteran of a coach with that record and pay bottom dollar. So there's a lot of money to play with if they are hiring someone else. So
give Rob $20,000 more and hire a GM to work with Visser and keep him developing in that role.
All right.
I totally off-railed this thing. Apologies. Anyway,
that's what I want. I don't think it'll happen. That's what I want.
I know. Let's cross that bridge after we beat Hartford this weekend. That's what we think in terms of how we think it's going to shake out. None of us here are saying that we think we're going to lose to Hartford. There's going to be some drama, but it should still be a fun one. As we said, the game is going to be 6:30 on Saturday at Highmark Stadium. I'm positive tickets are on sale now, so if you don't have tickets, try to get tickets. I have not checked to see if they are sold out yet. I'm assuming they're going to go really fast, but it's going to be a massive one. Guys, do you have any Halloween plans? I didn't play the here.
Hi, this is Ryan Reynolds, and no, this is not a Mint Mobile ad. It's the non-Hounds soccer topic of the week.
It's not even soccer related. I'm just like, Josh, you got any plans for Halloween?
We usually go to a friend's house they hand out candy. So we'll probably go there. But we did go to like a Witchy Mart thing this today with some other friends in our godchild. And we didn't get anything too cool, but I did get, I thought this was cool. I got Legend on VHS.
Nice.
It is a really hokey movie that I watched as a kid that Jim Henson made that is Tom Cruise, like one of his first roles, and it's about like a unicorn, and Tim Curry plays basically the devil in it, and it's wild.
This sounds amazing.
Yeah, I was
look up trailers for
like a watch party. Yeah.
In fact, fun fact, my handle online, Charlie Blix comes from this movie. Blix is one of the characters. He's like a little goblin.
I know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think we're burying the lead though, Josh, that you have the ability in your house to watch VHS. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Listen, I'm full back into physical media. I've been like purchasing and watching Blu-rays for a while now. I just got a CD player. I'm gonna start listening to it, like collecting CDs and listening to CDs again. Like
it's go vinyl, my man.
I'm done. We can have this conversation offline. I went back and forth on that a ton and like settled on CDs, but we'll talk. Steve, you got anything going on for Halloween?
So a few weeks ago, the Hounds looked like they were definitively ending the season in 6th, and been trying to find a time to go visit my best friends in Syracuse. So I am going to Syracuse on Thursday, and I will not be back until Sunday. So that's my admission that I will not be at the game. And I'm like, because I didn't expect it, right?
Yeah. That's fair.
And I didn't expect it until last week, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, but I'm looking forward to it.
Good.
It's long overdue.
Good. My youngest is going trick-or-treating probably for the last time. But the town here is like, any kind of 80s town in terms of trick-or-treating, and there's people everywhere and they flood the streets, and it's ridiculous. So we'll probably end up doing that. But hopefully you all have a very safe and fun Halloween, and we all get to celebrate the day after with a Hounds win against Hartford. Guys, anything else to close this one out?
Yeah, nothing.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you listening and watching as always. If you do have any thoughts or comments, you guys know how to get at us. We are on Blue Sky. You can get us on YouTube. You can also email us mongols3@gmail.com. So much going on. Send us your thoughts, and thanks, everybody. We will be back with more Hounds content for you very, very soon.
Later.
See ya.